India's carried out a surgical strike inside Pakistan and there is tension in Pakistan. They just don't know how to react, from claiming there was no surgical strike to running to the United Nations seeking intervention. But the man behind the surgical strike, Ajit Doval, National Security Advisor, he masterminded the entire operation and was minutely monitoring it. What we're also being told is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also keeping a hawk eye on all developments. He did not even drink water till the time the operation was over, and our entire security forces, all the men who'd gone across for the surgical strike, came back safely and it was declared a success. But let's first take a look at Ajit Doval and the policy of offensive defense.
India strikes inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Around 50 terrorists are killed as the Army Special Forces penetrate up to 3 kilometers inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and destroys terror camps. This rare operation marks a tectonic shift in India's counter-terror approach, from passive defense to defensive offense. This new doctrine, authored by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. It advocates smoking the terrorists out of their hideouts wherever they exist and destroy them ruthlessly. This is how India's NSA explains his counter-terror approach.
One is the defensive offense, that is to defend ourselves. We will go to the place from where the offense is coming. Now when we come into the defensive offense, then we start working on the vulnerabilities of Pakistan. It can be economic, it can be internal security, it can be political, it can be their isolation internationally, it can be their this thing like that, of exposing their terrorist activities, or it can be anything.
As the special forces carried out their strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, the NSA and other heavy hitters of the Indian state supervised the operation in the Army's war room all night. From this top-secret nerve center of military operations, the Prime Minister was briefed about the progress regularly. The operation ended successfully. Clearly, Ajit Doval's defensive offense changed the course of military discourse and response in India. The new approach is winning him numerous accolades.
The political executive got a good national security advice, and good national security advice came from National Security Advisor.
When Doval scripted a similar foray into Myanmar to hunt down militants in June last year, his hot pursuit left Pakistan fuming and jittery. Islamabad's ruling establishment bragged about its defenses around terrorists and mocked Indian action in Myanmar. But Doval's defensive offense stands vindicated once again, this time across the LOC. The NSA comes with a formidable track record in his intelligence career. He spent 7 years as an undercover Muslim in Pakistan.
मैं जब पैदा हुआ था तो मैंने कहा मैं बाद में कन्वर्ट हुआ. उसने कहा तुम बाद में भी कन्वर्ट नहीं हुए. उसने कहा देखो पता है मैंने ऐसा क्यों कहा. मैंने कहा क्यों. उसने कहा क्योंकि मैं भी हिंदू.
Disguised as a rickshaw puller, he entered the Golden Temple to draw key information about Khalistani militants holed inside. In the northeast, he infiltrated the underground Mizo National Front and engineered up to a dozen key defections in the outfit. In Kashmir, Doval recruited rebels like Khabare as counter-insurgents. The list of Doval's accomplishments in anti-terror operations is long. No wonder he's called India's James Bond. Rahul Kamal in New Delhi, reporting for India Today.
So what is this policy of offensive defense? Let's once again listen in to National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Now that time he was in the NSA. At that point of time he was the former director of India's Intelligence Bureau. But he had plans. Are those plans now being put into action? Listen to him once again and listen to him very carefully, and then we'll tell you what's happening on ground. Listen to Ajit Doval.
One is a defensive offense. That is to defend ourselves. We will go to the place from where the offense is coming. Now, when we come into the defensive offense, then we start working on the vulnerabilities of Pakistan. It can be economic, it can be internal security, it can be political, it can be their isolation internationally, it can be this thing like that, of exposing their terrorist activities, or it can be anything.
There is a strategy at play. Let me bring in people who are watching what's happening on ground, who know India and Pakistan and the relations between the two countries very well. I want to bring in Tariq Fateh. Tariq Fateh is an author, a columnist, a journalist and an activist to free Baluchistan. He joins me on the broadcast. Welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you.
With me is Major Gaurav Arya, a young veteran. He served at the line of control. Colonel V.N. Thapar, a veteran who served at the line of control, a man we are all very proud of. His son, again a young captain in the army, made the supreme sacrifice for India in Kargil. Joining me is Sushant Sareen, a defense analyst who watches Pakistan with a hawk eye. And joining me from Pakistan is Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed. He's a student of peace but watches these activities very closely. His country is not doing anything peaceful at this point of time. Tariq Fateh, is this Ajit Doval's offensive defense that we see on ground today?
Well, that's quite evident to anyone who's a student of India-Pakistan relations or the tensions between the two countries. It is a classic textbook case of what Mr. Doval said at that lecture. The line that did not go on air is more interesting when he said that you do one more Mumbai and we'll have Balochistan. At that time, very few people realized or thought that they said it was just saber rattling, but fortunately the guerrilla war for independence of Balochistan has come in sync with Pakistan's own foolishness, where it has become vulnerable.
Okay. Yeah. Pakistan is very vulnerable. Will Pakistan then stop terror, Colonel Saeed?
There is no terror being perpetrated by Pakistan, and especially in Kashmir. Since 2001, no infiltration has been allowed by force. It has been ensured that no infiltration take place from the Pakistan side across LOC. Now, whatever is being done is the effort by Mr. Doval doctrine to isolate Pakistan, to embarrass Pakistan in international community, and the way he has very vast experience of infiltrating organization, and that he has done. Indians have done, and Indians are behind Taliban Pakistan.
Oh, come on. Major Arya.
Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, and they are doing all those things so that Pakistan can be maligned internationally.
So this
and
is
Pakistan is not, the terrorism does not suit Pakistan at that.
Oh, really?
But it is the main.
What is Hafiz Saeed? Major Gaurav Arya, then what is Hafiz Saeed doing in that, country?
I think Pakistanis live in some sort of self-created Disneyland. You created the Taliban. Musharraf has gone on live television saying that he's proud of Osama bin Laden, he's proud of Mullah Omar, he's proud of all these people, they are the heroes. Your president, your ex-army chief says this, and you deny it. Why are you living in denial, sir?
Colonel Saeed.
You add things to the. आप एक बात के साथ 10 बातें अपनी मिला लेते हैं. Once he was saying he will only refer to Afghan Taliban who are fighting for liberation of their country from foreign yoke.
अरे
And
हाफिज सईद कौन है?
the rest of it
हाफिज
yourself.
सईद कौन है सर?
That
कल थापर.
Hafiz
I
Saeed
think-
is the product of Indian
I think he's a very
hegemony in
ill-read
Kashmir.
man. I suggest to him that he reads his own country's authors who have done a lot of study. And we don't even require to read. Every third day you see graphics of this man Syed in Lahore
yes.
collecting chanda for carrying out his nefarious activities. You know, Gaurav, the big problem is that we have been always drawing a very fine line between terrorists and Pakistanis. Now it is okay to say that all terrorists are not Pakistanis. All Pakistanis are not terrorists.
Yes.
But all terrorists are Pakistanis. Everywhere a terrorist is shot or killed or caught or is involved in some kind of a bad incident, his roots, his wires will go and attach somewhere in Pakistan. How is that happening?
And let's get an answer to that on the other side of a very quick break. I have to take a break at this stage, but internal trouble in Pakistan. He said we will do it, and has India already started putting that policy of defensive offense in action? And what impact is this having? Sushant Sareen watches Pakistan very closely. Sushant, what impact is this policy having now and in the long run? Does it need to be intensified further? Because one shallow raid, a state terror, sponsoring country like Pakistan will not be deterred by one shallow raid.
No, I don't think it will be deterred, but what will happen is that it will have to now rethink what might happen in the future. This shallow raid, and it's not one, it's at least 5 or 6 places, is a statement of intent. I think it's also a statement of resolve. And frankly, the Pakistanis would be miscalculating, which is actually their want. They always miscalculate, they always overplay their hand. They might do it again, and this time everybody is quite prepared for it. So this is the beginning of a new policy which might well have been forced by the NSA. But let me tell you something, many professionals, even in the past, have come up with some very robust policies, but without the political clearance, without the political will, I don't think the NSA's policy could have ever been pushed through. So I think it is this synergy between the political leadership and the professionals who have been hired that they're going together. So I think we need to be very clear on that. And out there, the resolve seems to have come that now this is not going to be taken lying down.
Pakistan-sponsored terror will not be taken lying down. Let me get Shafqat Saeed.
No, I think I must, Gaurav.
Yes.
Gaurav, it's important. No, Gaurav, I think it's important to say one thing, that India is not interested in escalation, but if there is escalation from the Pakistani side, India is in no mood to back down.
Okay, good point there, good point. And Colonel Shafqat Saeed, does Pakistan realize that there is a change in the hearts and minds, not just of the political leadership, but the entire country, and to an extent, the world at large? India has carried out a strike. The world is with India criticizing Pakistan.
Coming to the strike, this LOC violations, this is a routine, and we are used to it, and the media hype from India that we are used to that also, and both the country's political leaders trying to cash on this escalation. We are used to this, but this time there is a new addition to it, which is very obtuse, and this obtuse on 3 counts. First count is that you don't have a peg to hang your rag on in blame game. For example, your these Uri attack, Pathankot attack, and all these. This has such a grave missing links. It must be a media blockbuster or.
No, then Tariq Fatah, Pakistan should investigate India's evidence.
Gaurav, I would request, please let me finish this. And this has missing links. For example, I'm not very impressed by Indian professionalism in the army, but even then I would say that 5 men cannot fight an army for 5 days in Pathankot. It is not possible.
It did not
It
last
is not
5 days.
possible. 5 men, why, how could 5 men, this was a blockbuster, media blockbuster.
Like they fought in
And
Mehran.
Gaurav, one moment.
Yes,
Second
Sushant.
thing is
Gaurav,
that you have gone
Gaurav,
so
let's
high
talk
on
about
the
the
ladder of
let's talk about
lies
the
and
professionalism of the
escalation.
Pakistan army,
Look.
where 10 armed terrorists capture an entire 300 men, fully armed unit of the Pakistan army and hold them hostage without a shot being fired. So we've seen the professionalism of the Pakistan army. We've seen the professionalism of the Pakistan army in the kind of scorched earth operations they've carried out, not just in FATA but also in Balochistan. Entire villages razed, entire civilian populations dislocated. This even an enemy country does not do with it in another country.
Gaurav,
But this they have done with their own people. Now this is their so-called
the Pathankot parallel,
the kind of brutality
the Pathankot
people
parallel is
visit
the
on
attack on
unarmed people,
PM,
that is their
PMS,
professionalism.
Mehran.
Absolutely. No, but Pakistan should be investigating it.
Of professionalism, but it's a political mindset which Colonel Shafkat Saeed represents.
कर्नल शफकत
I
सईद
can't believe
मैं
that,
आपका नाम पूछता हूँ, आप अपना गाड़ी का नंबर बताते हैं, ऐसे थोड़ी चलेगा.
Who didn't fight for 10 seconds?
Colonel Shafkat Saeed, my question was something else, your answer is something else. But Tariq Fateh, that's traditionally Pakistan, because Pakistan cannot answer on facts.
It can't
I
answer
say that
on facts because
Yeah, so
the
that's why they're
facts
going to
are
hyperbole.
unknown to, or agreed upon on the other side. If 10% of the leadership has a different set of facts, the civilians have a different set of facts, the freeloaders have a different set of facts, and the kingpins like Azhar and Sayyid Salahuddin have their own set of facts. You can't have, it's not
So
a
you're
function.
saying, no, so what you're saying is Hafiz Saeed and Sayyid Salahuddin, they are the kingpins, they run Pakistan.
Of course they do.
Yeah, they do.
They run
Of
Pakistan.
course they do, Baba.
Hafiz Saeed runs Pakistan.
He is de facto Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Colonel Shafkat Saeed, respond to this. A terrorist, Hafiz Saeed runs your country.
Existing on Indian media.
It's he's an untouchable person.
Indian hegemony in Kashmir. If India meant its way in Kashmir, I think people like Tariq Fateh and Hafiz Saeed would not exist.
Oh, how can you compare an author, a journalist, a columnist with a designated global terrorist? That just shows your mindset, Colonel Shafkat Saeed.
No, I'm talking of their mindset. Such people want to deteriorate the peace in subcontinent.
Hafiz Saeed is a terrorist.
Whatever.
What do you mean, whatever?
He's a terrorist.
You know, I
He's
all those
the
people.
Prime Minister.
I put all those people.
He's a great
on
hero of
one side
Pakistan.
who are after the peace of subcontinent.
Why
And
don't you
Tariq
arrest?
Fateh
Why don't you arrest?
is not
Why
about
don't you
politics.
arrest
Whatever
Hafiz
he's
Saeed?
saying, he's just trying to fuel differences between India and Pakistan.
Me?
All the time he would try to provoke India, poke India into.
Allow me
a
to
cause
India is
of-
too busy
Allow me to
provoke.
respond. Just a
He
second,
would
sir.
always
Allow me
do
to
this.
respond. I was born a couple of years after Jinnah Sahib died. The rot that that man created is what is Pakistan today. If you want to blame someone, blame it at the feet of that slimy, thin, anorexic, pork-eating, whiskey-drinking, fake Muslim who made Pakistan at the behest of the British, who departed by amputating India's limbs. Don't blame it on me.
Colonel Shafkat
I
Saeed.
say, I don't, Qaeda does not require a defense, and your whatever you uttered,
Didn't care.
that is very idiotic. That is
He was a
unbecoming.
member of parliament from Bombay.
Colonel Shafkat Saeed,
He didn't even represent his own area.
I don't want to, go back in history. I want to stay on the current situation at the line of control and Pakistan-sponsored terror. Colonel Shafkat Saeed, why does Pakistan not arrest Hafiz Saeed, the man that Tariq Fateh says is de facto Prime Minister of Pakistan, Hafiz Saeed?
Hafiz Saeed has got strength and his spine is India. India is the one who has strengthened him. India is the one who is
Then arrest him.
protecting him. You
Arrest
won't
him.
find him on Pakistani media.
Why don't you kill him
give
then?
More time, your airtime than
Gaurav.
Pakistan. And he
Gaurav.
has
Yes,
nothing to
Sushant Sarin, go on.
do with Pakistani
Gaurav.
military or Pakistani policy.
Yes, Sushant.
No, when you asked me to come in this morning show, I thought we would have some serious conversation, but this is turning out to be a bit of a comedy show. So, frankly, with all due respect to you and the guests you have brought from across the border, this is more like a comedy show, because this kind of incoherent babbling which we are hearing from the Pakistani side, it's crazy, absolutely. It just doesn't make any sense.
But that shows the mindset of Pakistan.
Thinking. There is no rational conversation.
Exactly, there is no rational action.
Shows, but why do you need to inflict it on us?
No, but how else do you deal with a state sponsor of terror unless you expose to the world their thinking? How is Tariq Fateh, is Colonel Shafqat Saeed thinking any different from Pakistani state?
No, the world knows what the Pakistani mindset is. It's only Indians who are befooled by it.
So how does one deal with a state sponsor of terror? Sushant Sareen, how does India deal with Pakistan?
Take him out.
I would like
Take
to come
out the
here.
guy.
I would like to come in.
Take out which guy?
Sayyid Salahuddin, Azhar, your Bombay dacoit living in Karachi. Take them out, Dawood Ibrahim.
So what you're saying is, Tariq Fateh on India Today, you're saying that India should carry out surgical strikes and kill Hafiz Saeed, Sayyid Salahuddin?
Oh, no, let me tell you how it will be done. You can bribe any gangster in Karachi and he'll take them out. Don't think Indians even understand the power of money. You deposit that $1 million check, all three are gone. ये तो अपने घर वालों को बेच के आ जाते हैं.
Yeah, I would like to say something here. See, dealing with Pakistan is like cutting grass. All of you who have houses which have a lawn in front, every week you cut grass. It does not have to be the grass's fault, but the grass gets cut. This shallow raid across the line of control, it is significant because we have crossed the psychological milestone, but it will not impact or dent Pakistan. What needs to be done is a consistent policy of attack. This is an existential fight. We have to understand that the existence of Pakistan is detrimental to India's national security.
Okay, but Tariq Fateh, will it lead to a nuclear escalation that people like Khwaja Asif or others want? They have tactical nukes.
Not at all. I think it's a bluff, and that bluff has been called off just
by this. This was a shallow raid.
I come back to the point that you raised. I don't see any reason why we should shy if the opportunity gets us to get these guys.
Okay.
If an opportunity, suitable opportunity is there, I don't see why we should not get him.
And that would dent Pakistan's morale.
That's right.
Here's the point. You sent your forces over. You did it at a financial cost. You did it out of a lot of planning. And all you had to do is bribe one gangster and you would take him out. Instead of all these terrorists, this guy can be taken out.
Okay.
There are guns for hire all over there. Do a deal with the Baloch. They do it for you.
Okay. And Shafqat Saeed, that is something that Pakistan should be wary of. A hostile India. India does not like Pakistan-sponsored terror. Afghanistan does not like Pakistan-sponsored terror. Baluch people hate Pakistan army atrocities, sir.
The Baluch people that you are referring to are on Indian channels, or they are sitting in Canada and Norway abroad. The Baluch people in Pakistan are with Pakistan, and for your kind information, the Baluch people now have mobilized, and it is now the tribal.
The Baluch people in Pakistan are dead and dumb.
They are blunting insurgents, and they have.
You have death squads running. You're shamelessly running death squads in Balochistan. You are sponsoring ISIS over there, and Balochistan is going to be your undoing. It will be. हर वक्त नहीं लूट सकते आप हर एक का खून पीते जा रहे हैं आप
they cannot be Baloch, they are not Baloch.
No,
they are not Baloch.
They are very much Baloch.
Actually the problem is this is the typical Pakistani Vadera mindset where anybody who disagrees is killed. That is what you guys are doing to the Balochis.
No, it is not happening.
Sir, there are death squads running in Balochistan, we know that. There are so many people, there are hundreds and thousands of people in Balochistan who have been killed, who have disappeared, young children are taken away. There are facts, there are stories that point to people being thrown from helicopters at 10,000 feet. You're cleaning up Balochistan.
We don't hear these kind of things happening in Punjab.
You're using, sir, one more point, Gaurav, one more point.
Okay.
You're using heavy artillery, you're using fighter jets, you're using helicopter gunships.
We don't
in
need
Kashmir,
to.
if we do it, we use only infantry
Tariq
weapons.
Fateh sahab, you have first-hand
And what did you
information.
do in Manipur and Mizoram?
The
What
war,
all did you use there?
the war.
Arey, forget about what's happening inside India. Tell me what's happening in Pakistan, sir.
Why not?
The
Why-
war
why-
being
why
fought
shouldn't
is.
you forget about what is happening inside Pakistan?
Because you're sponsoring terror in my country. I can't forget that.
No, we are not sponsoring. It is blockbuster.
या
BJP
ऊपर से फरिश्ते आ जाते हैं
blockbuster.
पठानकोट में.
Because Mr. Modi had cashed his vote bank on this anti-Pakistan, hate Pakistan theme.
Oh,
and he wants
absolutely
to
not.
live up to
Tariq
it.
Fateh Saab, what
He
delusional
wants to
world
live up to it.
is
It's
That's
a
all.
delusional world because even after 56% of Pakistanis got rid of the word Pakistan and became Bangladesh, the mafia, the mullah military mafia of Punjab that runs the country didn't get the message. Imagine any country going through the trauma like Japan lost in the Second World War. You do a truth and reconciliation commission and you say, why did we lose a war? This is a bizarre country that as soon as it got its POWs, they sent the 90,000 troops to Balochistan to satiate the blood appetite of the Pakistani officer class. And you started the 1973 war against the Balochistan government. You threw them out of power, you assassinated.
Is Balochistan Pakistan's Achilles heel?
No, Balochistan is a country occupied by Pakistan. It's not Achilles heel. The Achilles heel is Karachi. The Achilles heel is the Pakhtun territories, is Bahawalpur, Saraiki language, Hindku. Everything is tearing it apart. Balochistan is an independent country invaded and occupied by Muhammad Ali Jinnah's mercenaries.
Are they strong enough to get away from Pakistan?
No, they will fight with dignity. They will fight. This is the 5th war of independence. They can live for another 1,000 years fighting for them. But we will never, ever, ever surrender to the mafia of the mullah and military that controls Islamabad and Rawalpindi.
So is it just the mafia and madrasa mentality that controls Pakistan Army, sir? Colonel Shafqat Saeed.
Mr. Tariq Fateh is very lucid and he becomes very spontaneous when it comes to telling lies. And I would say that whatever he said, it is very pleasing and it is a very sweet music to all Indian channels and Indian public and Indian government. On ground, the reality is different. All infiltrations from Afghanistan for Balochistan rebels and for miscreants in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has been absolutely blunted.
Yeah, I remember the 1971 headline, miscreants wiped out.
That is a thorn in Indians' heart.
I remember when you said the Mukti Bahini had been wiped out. Now you have to face the Mukti Bahini.
It was not me.
Gaurav, you must tell him that there's been big problem in Bangladesh, right? There's
Done by
problem in
Pakistan.
POK. There's problem in Sindh. There's big problem in Balochistan. There is huge problem in
Gilgit.
Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
And Gilgit.
That is where
so
2
only
lakh
place
plus-
that is left is Punjab.
Yes.
There is no problem.
No, there is a problem even there. We'll talk about that on the other side of a short break. We'll also talk about how badly Pakistan stands isolated in this entire region and how it's getting a dressing down from practically the entire world. Asia, a state sponsor of terror, Pakistan today stands completely isolated and stripped of any dignity. Maldives has also is standing with Pakistan. Shouldn't you mend your ways? Shouldn't Pakistan wake up and stop spreading terror?
I am surprised once you get blind to reality. For example, Iran is going to join CPAC and eventually India would also do it because it would be such a big activity that India would not be able to stay out and we would let India join it also. The whole region would become part of it.
Sushant Sareen, is Pakistan living
Pakistan is
in
not isolated,
denial
whatever.
or is Pakistan now a pariah-stan? Sushant Sareen.
No, I think it is a terroristan, it is a pariahistan. See, the point is that even the countries which are remaining engaged with Pakistan are not doing it because Pakistan has anything positive to offer. It's only because of the certain nuisance value that comes with Pakistan that countries are engaging with it. The economy of Pakistan doesn't matter anyways. And this whole thing which they have built up about CPEC being the biggest game changer in the world, making Pakistan the pivot of the world and all of that, you know, it is such crazy delusion that it's not even funny anymore. Simply because nobody has done the math, nobody has seen the geography, nobody has calculated, done the number crunching of what is the kind of throughput that will come and go from this area. I have done it, and I can tell you that while there would be some economic fillip, it is certainly not going to be the kind of game changer these guys are talking about. In fact, if anybody is fooling anybody, it's the Pakistani rulers who are actually making moolah on the side with many of these deals, because the Chinese are not.
And
very,
Tariq Fatah, that's exactly what Pakistan always does.
So
it makes money out of everything.
Deals are being struck.
You see, Pakistani just got shelled from the Iranian side of their border. That was just day before yesterday.
3 days ago, yes.
3 days ago. If you get shelled by Iran and you claim that there's infiltration and Afghanistan is hostile to you and that India is hostile to you and China is basically using Pakistan as a resource base, then what is the utility of the country? What exactly does Pakistan exist for? There are more Muslims in India and in a freer country than there are in Pakistan. Yes. And actually Pakistan became Bangladesh. So let's wrap up this country, Colonel Saib. Everybody go home and let everyone breathe.
No, so let's just stop terror. Colonel Shafkat said, let just Pakistan stop terror and everyone can live in harmony.
Then Pakistan won't exist if Pakistan stops terror.
Colonel Shafkat said, closing comments.
I would like Mr. Tariq Fatah to correct his scales. He has a lot of things to correct, but one thing that he must correct is his scale. It was the smugglers' engagement with Iranian forces, security forces, border forces.
Closing comments. Is terror Pakistan's only USP?
Absolutely, Gaurav. Without terror, Pakistan is nothing. Pakistan has fought 4 wars with India. It has lost 4 wars with India.
And surgical strike, offensive defense, the only way forward? Only way forward?
Yeah, only way forward and more. Because if you recall, Kargil, where you were very prominent, the hurt of not being allowed to go across the LOC has remained with the Indian Army and the battalions that was there. That barrier, that mental barrier has been shattered. And be warned, if you do that terror kind of a thing, let's not ask them to stop it. We will stop it.
Okay, that's a very significant point that a soldier himself and brave Captain Thapar's father, Vijayant's father, is saying here, that barrier of not crossing the LOC, that's been shattered forever. Should there be Pakistan-sponsored terror, India will respond and take out terrorists. But as Tariq Fatah is rightly pointing out, not just these shallow raids, India should take out Hafiz Saeed, Zakir Rahman Lakwi, Zarar Shah, Sayyid Salahuddin, Dawood Ibrahim, Masood Azhar. Pakistan's USP is terror, and these terrorists need to be taken out. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me on this Saturday morning debate. We will continue to track developments and India's new defensive offense policy. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.